What's good, champs? It's your boy Jerry, and welcome back to another episode of Champion Talk. We on episode 18 now, and today's episode is going to be relatively short, man. It's not too much we're going to talk about, but on Saturday night, Lamelo Ball, LeBron James both suffered some pretty serious injuries, and we're going to talk about that and how that's going to affect the NBA, and of course affect them and their teammates. So stick around and enjoy this episode.
J Squad.
All right, like I said, fellas, this podcast episode is gonna be relatively short. It's not too much for us to talk about right now. But the first injury, man, Lamelo Ball, Saturday night playing against the Clippers. He was driving to the rim, and he fell. He had a hard landing. He messed up his wrist, fractured his wrist, and he's out indefinitely. Probably gonna miss the rest of the season. And it's a big loss. That's a big loss for the Charlotte Hornets. We're not gonna give him 100% credit for them being sixth place in the East right now. We're not gonna give him 100% credit for that, but we know it's a huge part of them being in fifth place in the East is due to them drafting Lamelo Ball. The way he has come in, being aggressive, spreading the wealth, not being afraid of anything. He has really taken Charlotte to that next step. He got all them guys playing better. He got, Terry Rozier, Hayward, Graham. All them guys are playing better. It looks like they having fun out there, and he was just that little joy, that little joy of life that they needed, man. It's looks like there's, we can call it the Lamelo Ball effect because he has taken the Charlotte Hornets were terrible. They were terrible last year. They done added Gordon Hayward and Lamelo Ball. And now they're, a playoff team, albeit in the East, is still pretty impressive to go from the bottom, to a playoff team. And this is not only going to affect the Charlotte Hornets. Without Lamelo Ball, they may fall out. They may fall out of playoff contention. I think as a starter, I think he started about 15, 16 games this season as a starter. He was averaging like 21, 8, and around 6. So he was having a hell of a year. He was definitely the lead and Rookie of the Year candidate. And speaking of that, this is not only going to affect the Charlotte Hornets, this would affect Lamelo Ball too, man. Because Anthony Edwards, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but that young man he's been balling. He's been involved in too. Just on, I believe that was like Friday night, sometime last week. Anthony Edwards went for 42 against the Phoenix Suns, the number 2 team in his conference, number 2 team in the West. He went for 42, made some big plays down the stretch, and he looked pretty impressive. So if Anthony Edwards, I think Lamelo Ball, I think he's played enough games to win, Rookie of the Year. But I feel like if Anthony Edwards keep on progressing like that, the NBA won't have they won't have no choice but to give it to Anthony Edwards. But the Timberwolves I think they're dead last. Yeah, maybe not. They won't give it to them. Timberwolves only got 10 wins on the season. I don't know Anthony Edwards. I don't know his stats off the top of my head, but I know he's been playing pretty impressive as of late. So it's gonna be something we have to watch unfold. And I know Lamelo Ball is upset, but I just think he's having a hell of a year, man. Having a hell of a year. He had a lot of doubters. He didn't take the traditional route into the NBA. He went from high school to his dad's league to JBL. LeVar made that league just for his sons. I don't even know if that league is even a thing anymore. But he went from there. Then he went to, him and his brother went to Lithuania. He proved he can play there. And then, he got invited into a better, overseas team. I think it was somewhere in Europe, I believe. Somewhere in Europe or Australia, something like that, where there are better basketball players better than Lithuania. And now, that led him to the NBA, number 2 pick in the draft. He looked like he should have been number 1, Now, no knock to Anthony Edwards. Oh, wait. No, Lamelo went number 3. James Wiseman went number 2. So as of right now, I would say Lamelo is the best out of those 3 guys, man. But moving on, we before that we nothing but prayers for Lamelo. Hope he makes a speedy recovery because he was fun. He was fun to watch, man. He was box office. He was box office, And we see the way Bleacher Report and ESPN, they love showing us every little thing he do. But he's a fun, exciting player to watch. He's gonna be around for a while, and he's low key inspired his brother, man. He's inspired his brother Lamelo. I mean, not Lamelo, but Lonzo. Lonzo looked like he's one. He looked looked like he was inspired. Seeing Lamelo come in the league, being very aggressive, not being scared of everything. Lonzo is having a career high in points, career high 3-point percentage, and he's hit more threes than Trae Young this year. So that's something that's interesting. But moving on, man, the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron, they've been without AD for most of this year, and now they're gonna be missing King James for the next 3 to 4 weeks. He suffered a high ankle sprain against the Hawks. His injury not always, but also took place on Saturday night against the Atlanta Hawks. Solomon Hill, it was a loose ball. He dove for the ball, and he ended up hitting LeBron James' ankle, on the dive down. So, looking at the play, it didn't look dirty, and it looked like he did that purposely. Damn, why can't I say that? But it could have been avoided. But hopefully it wasn't anything worse than an ankle sprain. But this still missing LeBron James and Anthony Davis for the next 3 to 4 weeks could be very detrimental to the Lakers, because the way the Western Conference seedings are, the way it goes, because every team over there is, relatively decent, very good team. It's a tough game every night. The Lakers are only 3 games ahead of the 7th seed, and only they're 8 games above the 10th seed, the Memphis Grizzlies. So, a lot can transpire over 3 to 4 weeks. That's at least 16 games. At least 16 games without LeBron, and then like Anthony Davis, his timetable keeps getting pushed further and further back. So the Lakers could be in some trouble if they don't, make a move by the trade deadline to get them some help in there. Because the way the team is constructed, like I said, I say this all the time, it's constructed around LeBron and AD, complementary players that cater to them. But, this team without them is a team that will struggle in the West, man. With, I like Dennis Schroeder and I like Montrezl Harrell. I like Kuzma and those guys, but, they can't do it by themselves in the West. So I think the Lakers, I think they might be in trouble. I think LeBron needs to make a speedy recovery. So he's probably gonna miss half of the games that's left. Half of the games that's left in the second half of the season. And he's gonna have to come back, and he's gonna have to play some. They're gonna have to rock and roll, play some good basketball. So, I'm a LeBron fan. So I guess I'm a LeBron fan. So for right now, I'm a Lakers fan. So. I got faith in them, man. I like Schroeder. Like I said, I like Kuzma. Like I said, I like Harold. I think they'll be able to win. I think they'll be able to win some games, but against the upper echelon in the West, they're gonna struggle, man. Like we saw it against Phoenix a couple of nights ago. They struggled, and they got the Pelicans tonight, and like I said, Lonzo, he's playing better. Zion's having a hell of a season. We all know what BI is. So they're going to have their hands full again tonight. So, it's going to be something we're going to have to keep our eyes on. Frank Vogel going to have to go deep into his rotation and have to find the units that he can play with. So, and then we still got the trade deadline coming up. They could be pursuing Drummond and some other guys. Drummond will be a huge help to these guys, especially right now with their 2 superstars injured. And this doesn't just have an effect on the league. This just doesn't have an effect on LeBron and the Lakers, but it has an effect on the NBA. I mean, the NBA and the MVP race. I feel like right now the MVP race is as wide open as it's ever been. You got LeBron out, who was, he was ramping it up. LeBron was going crazy. The Lakers was on like a 5-game winning streak. You got Embiid, who's nursing a knee injury. So it's really wide open, man. Guys like Damian Lillard, Damian Lillard, they're 6 in the West right now. About 6 games out of first place, 3 games out of second and third. So, if the Portland Trailblazers, they just getting CJ McCollum back, if they can turn it up, Damian Lillard would definitely have a case for league MVP. Nikola Jokic. Denver is a 5th seed now. We all know how they started off this year, and they really, they are really skipping to the beat of his drum. He's having a hell of a year, averaging around 28, 12, and 8, 9 assists. He has a case for MVP. And then we got the other guys like Kawhi Leonard. He could step up and capture his first league MVP. And then some sleepers, man. You got guys like James Harden, Chris Paul, what Phoenix was last year and what they are this year. They were like, 11th, 12th in the West last year. Now they're 2nd. That's that Chris Paul effect. We seen it last year on the Thunder. I don't feel like Chris Paul got enough. I don't feel like he got enough credit for what he did on the Thunder last year. That team should not have been in the playoffs. I like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They had Gallinari. And, they had some nice, Lou Dort had some nice little role players, but they definitely, damn sure. I don't know how what were they, 7th, 6th seed? I don't know how Chris Paul pulled that off. And they almost put the Rockets out. It came down to one play in the Game 7. And, that's all. We're mostly credited to Chris Paul. He's just a genius. He's a floor general. And he's been leading teams to the playoffs ever since he came into the league, man. But yeah, man, that MVP race is wide open. It's wide open with LeBron James and Embiid being out. So, hey, that's really all. Hey, that's really we all had to talk about today, man. Injuries. We still got it's a lot of great injuries. I mean, a lot of great players that's injured, man. Like I think Giannis, he just sprained his knee. They don't really know how serious it is, though. He about to get another MRI on it. KD, don't know what the hell is going on with him. He hasn't played in almost 2 months. Starting to get worried. They still saying he's dealing with a hamstring injury. Anthony Davis, definitely worried about him. Hey, I've been saying this. Anthony Davis, he said that injury was bothering him this whole year. I knew it was something off about him because he was averaging like 22 and 9. I'm like, man, those not AD type numbers. It's not bad, but that's bad for him by his standards. So he's been nicked up all year, and now he's officially out, and his timetable keep getting pushed back. So hey, man, we're just gonna have to wait and see it out. The playoffs are approaching, so we just gonna have to be patient, man. We're gonna have to be patient and see how this play out. But if you enjoyed this video, for my YouTubers, leave a like for more great content. Episode every week, other videos, other segments of Champ Time produced weekly. And if you enjoyed, subscribe for more weekly content. Leave a thumbs up, comment where you disagree. Comment where you disagree, where you agree at. Comment if you're not sure. And for all my podcasters out there, if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a, subscribe, leave a review. And all my Spotify users out there, follow the podcast. You won't miss a beat. We going to continue to upload every week. And I'm out.